I was born in Egypt. And I graduated with a major in finance, accounting, and minor in economics. It was a minor for me. And my grades were not the best. My grades were not really the best. I was an average guy, okay? And immediately I joined one of the best banks at this time in Egypt, and it was a joint venture. It was called EAB, Egyptian American Bank. Immediately after Egyptian American Bank, I went to the United States to do my postgraduate studies. And I went to Syracuse University, New York. After this, I immediately joined. I went to Canada. And in Canada, I was working for Chase Canada. And I worked my way up until I became a senior vice president in Chase Canada. And then after this, I got transferred to New York. In New York, I was working in wholesale banking. When I say wholesale banking, I'm talking corporate banking, corporate finance, and investment banking. I'm talking treasury and capital markets. These are four. Corporate banking, corporate finance, investment banking, capital markets, and treasury. It was a big responsibility. And after this, I was responsible for another very interesting area by the name of private banking, wealth management. Why very interesting? Because the whole world of finance is at the palm of your hand. Private banking and wealth management, it was a wonderful exposure. And of course, my trading experience in Chase Manhattan Bank, particularly in the derivatives, I used to be called a very lovely title, Senior Vice President and down off-balance sheet product specialist. On off-balance sheets, for the people in finance, they will understand me very well. It means forget about letters of credits and letters of guarantees. Here we are talking here trade finance. But when I'm talking about off-balance sheets in capital markets, I'm talking basically derivatives markets. And the derivatives are three. You will not, you make no mistake about it. It's either swaps, either options, either futures. And I was a connoisseur in the three of them, plus combining between all of this and assets. After this, after Chase Manhattan Bank and Merrill Lynch, I formed my company in Singapore by the name of Alpha Asia Finance. And then we sold it to a group of investors. And we were talking about, it's an investment bank boutique. Basically, we were doing business in Tokyo, Hong Kong, Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Taiwan, Taipei, and so on. I have been a consultant for a number of banks, including Standard Chartered Bank in London, Singapore. I have been a consultant for HSBC in the area of asset liability management. I've been active in anti-money laundering as well with Stuart Gulliver. Stuart Gulliver used to be the former CEO of HSBC. He's retired. And after this, I worked with another Lebanese French guy by the name of Samir Saya. For analysis of the balance sheet, which is basically what? Management of the balance sheet. And the word management in finance or in economics, by the way, by the same token, what I said about finance, I will apply it to the world of economics. What are my statements in economics? Budget, state budget, which is basically revenue and expenditures, and number two, balance of trade and balance of payments. That's it. That's all what I am studying. Okay, what are you reading? Inflation, unemployment, production capacity, a budget deficit, a budget surplus, and so on. What do you mean by management in finance? What do you mean by management? After reading liquidity, solvency, profitability, and so on, management is basically how to protect yourself, how to mitigate the risks. And under the worst case scenarios, surviving. I'm just surviving. I didn't do much, Mr. Zaki. I didn't do much, Dr. Berg. I'm just surviving. Okay. I'm just trying to cope with the Trump tariff policies and so on. Okay, I'm just surviving for the time. What do you mean by protection? Protection from where? Protection from the different risks. Oh my God, you have myriad of risks. I have a lovely book, 365 pages. Each page is a risk. Each page is a risk. Okay, I'm talking about market risk, interest rate risk, yield rate risk, basis risk. I'm talking about a translation risk. I'm talking about foreign exchange. I'm talking about commodity risk. The huge amount of volatility in commodity prices, the huge amount of volatility in agriculture prices, which is basically the food security for you. Corn, wheat. I was on TV 2 days ago, and we were talking about risks. So I said Egypt was the biggest importer of wheat. They imported 14 million, actually to be precise, 14.2 million tons of wheat. The government by itself was responsible for importing 6.6 million tons. How much does it cost? And why I'm doing this? Okay, risk management. Asset liability management, it's a risk management course. To do what? To protect myself from what? Are you working in a bank? Yes. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Chase Manhattan, Bank of America, Citibank, and so on. You are protecting yourself from erosion of spread. Meaning what? Erosion of spread. Dr. Barry is depositing with me $10 million. Okay. I'm giving him 5%, but I'm giving it to IBM. I'm giving the money, $10 million to IBM. I'm giving the money at almost 50%. So I have 10%. Try to protect it against all kinds of risks. So when I'm talking about asset liability management, I am trying to distinguish, to tell you two things. How to read the balance sheet, where are my risks, and how to protect myself from erosions in a bank of asset liability. So in asset liability management, I am touching on two important subjects. How to safeguard, how to read the balance sheet, how to detect where are your risks.
My next question. Our students are smart people. They're interested in knowledge for the sake of knowledge, but they come to us in New York because they're also interested in knowledge that leads to a great career path. They're mathematically talented, computer science, they have talent. And so one of the natural questions they're going to ask about a new course is, how does it lead to Wall Street jobs? How will I become better prepared to have success on Wall Street after I take this course in asset and liability management with Professor Zaki? Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Barry. There are so many analysts in the market, so many MBAs in the market, not only NYU, Columbia, Cornell, MIT. We have so many analysts, and we have so many CFAs in the market. Opinion. That's why in my course, we have projects, and we have group discussions. We'll talk about VAR, we'll talk about GARSH, we'll talk about Monte Carlo simulation, we'll talk about, and there will be a lot of numerical examples. I love math, but do you know what? There is a lovely book by a very important guy. I really like him. His name is Robert Rubin. The name of the book, In an Uncertain World. Please write down this book. Write down the name of this book, In an Uncertain World. Why? He's not talking about economic theories. He's not talking about John Maynard Keynes. He's not talking about monetarism. But he came up with a wonderful thing by the name of Rubinomics. Rubinomics. Why? Why? You see, in the book, you are talking about what? You are talking about stories. But he's saying something very important. Every year you have a bad crisis. Every year you have a bad crisis. Since Richard Nixon on August 15, 1971, when he stopped the converting between US dollars and gold, at $35 an ounce, you have problems. Since that day, you have problems. You have floating exchange rates, you have volatility of exchange rates, you have volatility of crude oil prices, you have volatility of agriculture products, which is very important for feeding people. Food security. Without it, you see, the American people will care so much about what our president is doing. But when it comes to food, people might not be very patient. When it comes to crude oil prices, they don't become so patient at all. We are not all Elon Musk. Real world, with its problems more and far complicated than the most complicated mathematical models. Just be careful. Mathematics is so important. And I love math. I have a passion for calculus and so on. But don't be swayed and don't be fooled by mathematics. Okay? It's why? Because mathematics, it's your own making. But the market, it's the making of so many events and so many unforeseen events like AI, like Trump policies, like all of that stuff. So be on top of things, try to analyze in a connective way, and try to offer always solutions. So that's why my course is focused and revolving around so many pillars: theory, practice, group discussions, numerical examples, mathematics, and projects.
Great. Thanks. I like that answer a lot, Nabil. Dr. Zaki, it's been a real pleasure chatting with you this morning. I always enjoy talking with you. I look forward to working with you beginning in September, face-to-face on campus. As you said, being on campus is no substitute. It's an experience to be savored every minute.
I always enjoy campus life, and I always enjoy my students, because it's the most important elements in teaching is the exchange of knowledge. It's a two-way. I would love to group discussions, and I love them to express their opinions. Coffee break for me is not only coffee. Coffee break for me is coffee and knowledge. So it becomes a better zesty coffee.
Wonderful. Thanks again, Nabil.
All the best, Dr. Berry.
All the best.